So we have a brief time for just a few questions. Who has the mic?
I have one over here. Over here.
So, as you all know by now, I'm brand new to this party, and I'm wondering, do patients have access to all the data in the existing databases? And if so, is there an API so that data can be extracted from those databases? And I work with people who build databases, so I will follow up with you so that you can have access to those people.
Yes, I can answer for the Pompe Registry, the Sanofi, Genzyme Sanofi Pompe Registry. No, it is not possible to have direct access to the single patient data. We can have only aggregated data, and so far it's not foreseen any modification on this for the rules. And so this is why we have to ameliorate this one. It is possible for the patient to download the global figures, the numbers, and there is a report that is constantly updated. Probably Jennifer could be more precise, but it is an evolving. But the rule so far doesn't allow to download the single for the patient. We, as a doctor, the center can now, we can see the trajectories of the patient, similarly to what Pascal Laforêt showed, and we are working on it. We're asking to be able to see the patient of the center, the single center. We cannot see all the patients together unless there is a query made by the scientific board that selects the queries and can produce the publication. It's a very long process, however, and it takes too much time to have rapid answers so far.
In the U.S.,
Yep.
maybe 12 individuals can access their own data.
Get your own mic, Brian.
Sorry, just to clarify, so in the U.S., and maybe the Sanofi rep can clarify this, the patient does have the right to request access to their own data, but maybe this is also global. Just to clarify that.
Yeah.
For the French registry, yes, the patient can have access to his data. This is quite rare because in general the patient has also his report when he goes to hospital, but the data are available without problem.
And I can add for the IPA Erasmus survey, at the moment it's not yet possible, but we're working on that to have a feedback to the individual patients about their data. So I would really like to talk to you afterwards.
Good morning. Sorry, Lucy Golder again. I have several questions. Yeah, okay. I'll try and stick to one. Is the aim of Octopus to be cross-border, individual country laws, data collection? I think it's vital as we're moving into the future that we stop all these little corners of the different parts of the world with our little bits of information, but it is shared globally. And POMP is one illness. Let's share all the information and not keep it secular.
Yeah, so the aim is definitely not to create a new database. So not really something, we don't want to invent the wheel again, because there's a lot of activities and a lot of money and work done for this already. But if you have a specific question, it's more a data hub access. So if you have a very specific research question, let me give an example. What is the 6-minute walking test at the age of 45 in the cohort of all Pompe registries? So can we have this data extraction? Things like that. So very easy things first line. But also what is perhaps beyond what is really very well done for the variant registry, what is really of a specific mutation, a thing that is in the registries around the globe. Can we have more access for phenotype information, whatever type of thing? So you could think a lot of things. You could think, what are they drinking in the morning? Drinking their coffee or tea? So there's a lot of questions you can give to that. And then you will have a precise answer only for this one. So it's not a general readout, it's just very specific to one question, and that needs to be governed. Of course, that is not a stupid one like coffee or tea, so that is something that is reasonable and understandable why we need this.
Just one more question, Jules?
We have one, can you hear me? We have one question here, and then we have one online question. Oh, no. Thank you.
Hi, my question is for Dr. Laforêt. For the French registry, the forced vital capacity data, are you collecting them specifically for the registry, or is that part of your routine clinical follow-ups that's just entered in the registry?
Yes, it's an important question. In fact, yes, this is a routine follow-up because we have guidelines in France regarding the follow-up of the patient, children or Pompe, and for adults, sorry. And the recommendation is to evaluate the patient every year with standardized tests, 6-minute walking test, MFM scale. So we collect the data of the routine, which are not so easy to perform. So that's why it's needed to have a reference center. So it's quite a heavy task. And there is no, there are some questionnaires that we can add, but nothing more than the routine assessment, which is quite heavy, but it's very important for such rare disorders with innovative therapy to have a strict follow-up of the patient and monitoring of the effect of the treatment.
So the Netherlands will be part of it, obviously. Yeah. Now, how do you classify the patients who were diagnosed through newborn screening? How do you classify it in the database? Because now we, as Priya mentioned, so those patients who are diagnosed through newborn screening with a late onset genotype essentially develop the disease much early. If you really look carefully, which column you would put them there?
Nina, absolutely right. So there are tons of questions, and we need. So this is work in progress. So there will be a lot of brain work done and needed to really solve a lot of these issues. But first of all, we need to come to one page. If we could agree to have a patient identifier, that would be really the absolutely first step, so that we can follow individual patients through all registries. That's really a need, and then we need to build up this and agree on this, so then it needs to be really an agreement and also in a way a signed consent on this. And I think this could be very well done under the umbrella of IPA, of AMDA, so building this up into a GPOC thing. And of course, then we go into all these details, and there will be a lot of discussions how to do that. But there are approaches. So other rare diseases are a bit ahead of us, and they could guide us in some of the things. And that's the next step, what we do. We look in all what is already there in more detail, and we have in 3 months a second meeting under the umbrella of IPA, how to continue. And I think all of you, because it will be online, all of you are kindly invited to join in. And we need all your brains, so all your experience you have in this already. But I think it's time to do that now. Otherwise, we are completely getting puzzled into very small, fragmented situations, and we'll never ever get the real insights in this type of disease on all facets of this disease.
If I can add a comment, we have the same problem for SMA patients that are changing phenotypes and changing the classification. So the collection of data must take it in account, and the unique identifier can help to follow the patient if it goes from one category. The 2 categories are really too much. They don't express the complexity of the phenotypes. So.
Okay, thank you, everybody. So before everybody goes for a break, Dr. Schoser just has a short brief.
And I need Arnold for this. And I need Tiffany up here.
How do you need me?
Come on. Join me.
And after this, please stay.
I'm sorry. Get out of the way.
Little speech. No, little speech. Well, there was 2 years ago, actually 2.5 years ago, we started to have a next edition of the Pompe book. The book never arrived, Tiffany, because it was lost in the US mail.
The Dropbox.
The Dropbox something.
The waste.
So we thought, as we are now here in person again, it's a very good chance to deliver this, and the most of the authors, because it's a multi-author work, signed it, and we want to give that back to Tiffany, because we all really should be very great to her. She did so much for the community here, and this is something very little we can feedback. And we all know that she is so much into this. She will be perhaps the only one who is reading all pages of the book.
I guess so, yes. we go to her.
We go to her.